Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Guys, what's up? Today we're going to be chatting about another little thing that I think be super helpful in GAs. And this team, it's going to be a Padme versus Malak team, but more in specific, it's going to be Padme versus Marauder teams without Trooper. The reason why this team in particular, and the one that you can see on screen right now, let's just fast forward a little bit. Okay, now you can see. This team right here without Trooper is extremely tough. This is probably the toughest team in this entire game right now for Padme to beat. Just plain and simple, you might say that the Malak, or the teams with Malak that have Malak as the fastest are pretty tough, but in my opinion, this team with Marauder without any Trooper is by far the toughest. And the reason being is that with Ahsoka in here, whenever you're using a special ability, she's getting called into assist, and whenever she's called into assist, it's going to be most likely on Malak's taunt. So let's just show you guys why this is super hard. So right now, typically you have a Sith Trooper taunt right here, but you don't. So for one, HK and if the turn order on this team is like right, back to back with all their turns, Ahsoka has a lower HP pool, so she is almost always going to be going below that 50% HP, which triggers Anakin's bonus turn to have him go. This time we got really lucky we didn't crit. If that was the case and did crit, that is no good. That's no bueno. And then on top of that, now it's Padme's turn with the cleanse, and guess what, guys? Every single special that they use, she's called into assist, which crits, and then they gain fear, and then Malak gains his taunt back, which is awful. That's why this team is super hard to fight. Padme can beat this, but it has to be done without Ahsoka. So I just want to clarify that this team is the hardest, and with Ahsoka in here, it makes it almost unbeatable. So now what we're going to do is actually go back into my my roster and see what ones we could actually use instead. Alright, so for the ones that I have instead of Ahsoka I could use right now, I can use R2, Yoda, Barriss, Mace, and Rex. Those are the Gear 12s, and those are really the only ones I have I could use. But when you're looking at another person that you want to use to fight these Marauder teams, you got to look for somebody who has a really high HP and protection pool. That way you don't have to trigger Anakin's bonus turn from somebody going below 50% HP at the start of the battle. And you want to get more courage stacks on them earlier on as well. So when you're looking at these, Yoda is a no-go because you want to use him in Jedi Revan team. R2, you probably want to save him for CLS. Mace is not that, he's not that tanky. He's quite squishy actually. And well, maybe you could use Mace. We'll see. But the reason I want to bring up this one we're talking about right now is actually Barriss. Barriss is a perfect candidate for this. For one, she has a mass heal, and she actually gives out defense. And whenever she gains out defense, when 3PO is there, they're getting even more protection up stacks, which is actually huge later on in the battle versus Marauders. And I have a few I want to show you guys today in what I did my arena testing for today versus these Marauder teams. And the heal is pretty big because you typically want to have GK topped off at all times. That way he doesn't get one shot by the drain life. And another reason why Barriss is a good fit is because she's not ever going to be called into assist, and she's not going to be critting. And guess what, guys? Her crit chance is only at 30%, which there might be a 70% chance of this working, but there's also a 30% chance of it not working, because if she does crit Malak, it is going to be the same deal with what we were just showing you guys and how we lost that last one. So Barriss is great. If you're thinking of other fifths, you got to be thinking of somebody who is tanky, somebody who can give out extra buffs, and somebody who doesn't, crit a whole lot. Ahsoka is not great just because she has a super high crit chance and she's called into assist versus Malak all the time in those Marauder ones. I was thinking of Clone Wars Chewie. He has another taunt. He gains health up, and he gains some extra buffs as well. I would say Chewie's probably not as good as Barriss in these ones, just because I like to, I probably would rather have somebody who can give out mass buffs and feel more of the 3PO uniques and getting more protection up that way. Another one I was thinking of was Kit Fisto. I would never really work on this guy until we see his his reworks, and they will get reworks. But pretty much he has okay. He's not super squishy. He's okay. But this AoE he does right here, it gives that potency up, which is another similar thing to the Barriss one. So he might be a possible candidate. There might be other ones here. Like Plo is another good one here. He's not super squishy. He gives out defense up for 4 turns, so similar to Barriss. And then he has another one where he does special damage to all enemies. Probably not the best, but another one that's nice here is on Plo is that he deals physical damage to target enemy and dispel a random positive stats effect on that. That might be helpful maybe for getting rid of the Malak taunts and whatnot. So out of these guys that you might possibly use, Plo is definitely up there, possibly Kit Fisto, and definitely Barriss. If there's any others that you guys think meets that requirements of 1, getting the buffs up to everybody, 2, not critting and having low crit chance, and then 3, being super tanky, let me know, guys. I don't want to go a full video on this. I just want to hit up on the point that this team versus Marauders is super hard right now with Ahsoka in there, and you kind of need somebody else in there to help out and make sure that you're going to win these. So let's get into the battles today with Barriss. Okay, so guys, I don't have ones with the Gear 13 Malak. Everybody else though in this team is pretty much Gear 13 besides HK, I think. But this is a good starting base and a foundation for this whole testing. So right here. She did her cleanse, and Barriss is going to be going next. She did waste all of her stacks, but guess what? She didn't crit, which is really great. And then later on, we'll see here, you're going to play this out almost identical to what you would do typically in this team. Here, we didn't have CBM, we didn't have Corrupted Battle Meditation, so we were able to land the Confuse, which is actually huge. And now we're able to, do a basic, and then almost kill HK. You still kind of want to focus on HK before Marauder in these ones. And then nice thing here is Barriss actually has a built-in cleanse and dispel on basic, so that's super nice. And if somebody was super low on HP, you could do a nice little cleanse there, or a nice little heal rather. And guess what, guys? We already have Marauder and HK taken out, and nobody on our team is dead yet. So this is actually something that I think will really work. And then I'll actually show you guys after all these battles what the mods are on my Barriss and my Padme. Everybody else is pretty much the same. So right there, we lost Barriss. I think I'm still testing, but I think there's a little bit better of a turn order here we could really figure out. These ones though, guys, you can really go about winning very easily versus non-Marauder teams, and it doesn't really matter what you're using. I can even throw in like a Qui-Gon and I'll still be able to pull it off. Maybe that could be a whole different video, but these are really the biggest problem makers, especially in GAC. Whenever I see one of these Marauder teams, I am quite scared. Because my Ahsoka can't really deal with them. And right here, we were able to finish it off. I'm not going to hit this guy. This is a payout guy. So we'll show you one more. Okay, this one here, it is not versus Marauder team, but this is actually one of the other toughest teams in my opinion. Marauder is for sure the toughest without Trooper. This one though is another tough one, probably a second in the toughest for Padme to fight. This is where Malak is the fastest on the enemy team. And why is that so hard, you might ask? Is because he's going to dispel and inflict shock, which gives him an early on taunt. And it makes the train rolling a lot faster for their team, so we're kind of a bit behind, even more so than usual. So here we go. The shock landed, and a lot of the AoEs are happening. That's kind of why you want that tankier character in here, because if that was Ahsoka in the spot of Barriss, she would probably be below 50% HP, which is not good. So now we get that nice big cleanse off, guys. And let's see what we're gonna do here. Do the same thing, give the buffs to GK. You want to get as much protection up as possible. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. We did get ability blocked, unfortunately. But guess what? We have a bunch of stacks on JKA. We have 20 actually on Barriss. And Sith Trooper's dead. So now we get a nice kick on HK. And we're pretty much golden at this point, guys. Everybody's alive still. And we just tanked that. Oh boy, that was pretty big. And we're only one turn off of another cleanse. We're going to do this cleanse, though, with GK. And we have everybody alive. GK is at a good spot where you can still tank one of the drain lives. And guess what? We got a cleanse up. So we won this one, believe it or not. This is actually versus the fastest Malak team in my arena. And you guys will be super surprised at what the mods are on my Barriss. They're actually garbage mods. There is a certain degree to a speed you need on this whole team, but What I'm running here, I'm not sure if it's like the baseline of the speeds or if it's just like a middle ground for it. I've seen a lot of different people running super fast mods, and I've seen a lot of people running, you know, average, and I've seen some people even run super slow mods and still pulling off wins. So we did win this one, and pretty much at this point everybody's alive. We just did lost Barriss there, but with GK still alive, it is even more important to have him alive rather than having somebody else like Barriss or Ahsoka if we were running Ahsoka in here, just because having his taunt here with extra chances of protection up means that we're gonna tank every single drain life, and in turn JKA Anakin is going to be alive, being able to apply his healing immunities, which is super important. So these four, if they are last alive on your team versus a solo Malak, you still have a really great chance of winning this all, guys. You gotta just make sure you're playing the right turns. You want to make sure you have enough HP up and protection up before it's Malak's turn, so he doesn't drain life him all the way down to 0 and kill him. So this is kind of how it's going right now, and this is, I think I'm onto something here. I think we can make this a little bit more smooth and making sure you get more banners in your GA, but this is still test, guys, I'm doing here. This is mainly for those Marauder teams, and I think this still would work versus the Gear 13 Marauder teams. And the one today, we didn't show it off with the Gear 13 Malak, but we did show Gear 13 everybody else. So let's go into mods. Alright, so for the mods on Barriss, this is what I was using versus the Marauder ones, like the harder ones. And guess what, guys? I didn't even sort by the speeds of speed sets. I just went for pure speed secondaries. Like, look here, none of these things are matching. So we come here. We have almost 100 speed, so she's at 215. She is quite squishy at the HP, but her protection's really good. This speed is at a good spot where the HK bomb will not lower us below 50% HP, which is actually great. But the most important thing is her speed. She does need to be a little bit faster than Padme. So now what we had to do there, instead of you know, lowering Padme, or instead of upping up her so we could, you know, fit her into the turn, or we actually had to lower Padme's speed quite a bit. So now she has actually quite a bit more protection, but she's only at 196 speed with 18 extra additional speed. I'm going to do more tests on this. I'll let you guys know in the future days, but I think I'm at a good spot here where I can test out a little bit more. Shock T is the end goal right now for me. I think if I can get Shock T up and running, that is for sure going to be my 5th in that team. But for the time being versus these Marauder teams, you really only have GMY there and Barriss right now for that to be really easy. Again, guys, do not use Ahsoka versus the Marauder teams if they have no Trooper. That is just not going to be going in your favor. There's just too much RNG there for you to win that. There's like, what, 30% chance of you winning that because her crit chance is just super high. But guys, this is probably where I'm going to wrap it up for today. Barriss, she is a great 5th in this team. Definitely need everybody else attached to the team as well. You definitely need Padme, GK, Anakin, and 3PO. Definitely need those 4. But the 5th, like I said, guys, let me know what you can, you know, slot in. Somebody with high survivability, doesn't have a whole lot of crit chance, and somebody that gains and gives out extra buffs. Just let me know about those and what I could slot in, guys. I only have a certain amount I can test out with here. I do kind of want to test out some with 5s in the future. He is quite tanky. Maybe we'll test out him, but we'll have to see, guys. That's going to be it for today's video. Leave a like, share, and sub for more type of content for today. It really helps out the channel and my growth. And I think that's it. There's also a Discord and a Patreon. Go check out those 2 things. We are, you know, trying to hit our 3K sub goal, so be sure to, you know, sub if you're new here. I appreciate everybody, you know, giving me the support. I do love making videos on Padme, guys. It is super fun to do these. So I hope you enjoyed it for today, and that's it. And I'll see you guys later.